Let's start at the deep end, shall we? What is a soul? Did you know the Bible doesn't explicitly say what the soul actually is? That begs the question then, doesn't it? How are we meant to love the Lord our God soulishly when we don't really know what it is? Why have I just asked 5 questions in a very short amount of time? Why have I just asked 5 questions? Sometimes I wonder why there's so much kind of conversation and conjecture about certain theologies that are in the Bible. My suspicion is that this is God's way of keeping us in a place of searching, of learning, of growing, of sort of making mistakes and then learning from those, and just that continual movement towards him. So it's not just all on a plate, it's so that we can search him out more and more each day. And about souls, the Bible has plenty to say about souls, just not exactly what they are. We know that the soul is eternal, and after this life there is a destination of either eternal life or eternal death. We do know that the soul is distinct from the spirit, although sometimes the Bible does use those synonymously.
Are you serious?
I think we can safely land on that the soul is the who of you.
Hello, I'm Doctor Who.
So it's who you are, and your body is like a shell, but it's still very, very much important, and it's actually still part of you. But it's kind of like your thoughts and your ideas and your personality and stuff like that. Like I mentioned in the Loving the Lord your God with all your heart video, I understand the soul to be this depth, the very essence of a person. The Greek word for soul sort of kind of translates as the word breath. And it sounds like suke with a bit of phlegm. You have to put the little phlegm in there to kind of get that suke word out. It also appears to be where we get our English word for psyche, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? See, the word indicates that it's like the vital force, like the unconscious and the conscious part of who you are. And Jesus says, you've got to love him with all of it.
Okay.
From my previous time as being a youth leader in another church, I remember distinctly there were 2 girls at separate times. I think there was a little bit of crossover, but they both came to our youth group. They both gave their lives to Jesus, and they were all very, very excited in the charismatic tradition. In fact, they were so excitable. You know, they were down the front on a Sunday, going for it, hands in the air. And actually, they were going for it so much that they were putting the dyed-in-the-wool, you know, the kids who had been brought up in the church, they'd outdoing them in everything. You know, they were there all the time and they were going for it. However, both of them, within 2 months, just disappeared. My suspicion is something to do with the seeds analogy, but we could talk about that another time. I think that they were loving the Lord their God with all their heart. You know, the surface stuff was sorted and it was great. I don't think they let it seep down into their soul. I know what you're saying. Once again, that was another example of the opposite. So, what is it, Tom? That's what you're asking. I can sense it. I can just sense it. Because of the lack of definition within the word, I think we need to ask ourselves 2 questions. Number 1, have you had a revelation of Jesus as Lord? And B, have you surrendered everything that you are to him? I actually think it's a little bit like the fruit of the Spirit. Like, you only know that the fruit of the Spirit is really being outworked in you because of what he has inworked in you. And it's like you can only see the work of a soul surrendered by seeing the soul surrendered working out because of what he's worked in. Does that make sense? I would argue to love the Lord your God with all your soul is to basically be obsessed with Jesus. You know, I realise though that actually the answer hasn't really been found here. You know, I realise it doesn't really answer the question. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I think it's about seeking him out, about looking and finding him and searching through all the stuff. Get your soul stuck into Jesus.